What's going on, everybody? Scott Carson here. Hopefully you are doing well this Monday night. Glad to be back here for Note Night in America. And this is a very special 100th episode. It's hard to believe that we've done 100 episodes of these over the last couple of years. Obviously, I've been doing webinars a lot longer than just 100 episodes. But really, since we started doing Note Night in America and then also the Monday Note, this is episode number 100. And so totally honored to have you guys here, especially those who have been here for a lot of these episodes over the last 3 years. Just absolutely jacked up that we've hit this number, and I have to give a big shout out to my buddy Val Satir at Watermark Exchange, who many years ago, well, not many years, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, told me, Scott, one of the best things that you do is the Monday webinar. So keep doing them. Don't ever give up. It's one of the best things to get your word out. So once again, Val, if you're listening or watching, thank you so much, bud, for doing that. Because yeah, this has been one of our biggest things that we have done year in, year out for the last 3 years. And so honored to be here. And once again, honored to everybody that has been a part of Note Night in America. But we have many people join us for the first time that have never been a part of our Monday night webinars. And so I want to go through that real fast here. Just who's on tonight. We have a variety of people. We've got note investors who are active in it. We've got real estate investors looking to get in the industry. We've got people that are looking at notes as a way of diving into the real estate industry as investors or looking to put their money to work into notes. These calls are recorded. I do have the record button hit. Yep. And we are live on Facebook as well out there across our different Facebook pages as well for everybody that's watching or listening. So we are recording, as I said, and one of the things we do as well, so we do take it a little bit extra step is we take these webinars every Monday night. We throw them on YouTube. We throw them on video, so you can always catch the replays on WeCloseNotes.tv, or you can go to iTunes, Stitcher, all the smart TV channels out there as well, iHeartRadio, and get our episodes on there as well for you, okay? And or we've got the podcast, obviously, Note Night in America, which is it's our least amount of downloaded amongst the three that we have, just over 5,000 downloads on iTunes since we started uploading them over a year ago, but it's still been very effective, and we're glad to have that there as well. I think this marks the 24th episode on the podcast as well. But anyway, glad to have you all here. Glad to have you here. And as always, we started sharing our goals for everybody out there, what we want to accomplish in 5 years. And we still have a 5-year goal to educate and create 10,000 note investors out there. 10,000, because we believe there's a lot of opportunity still in the market and going to hit the market. And tonight's webinar is going to be about some of those opportunities that we see, and may scare some of you guys and gals out there. Laura says, congratulations, you're a centurion. Yeah, I guess so, with the podcast, or not with the podcast, but with this anyway. But we still see a lot of opportunity in the market. And I've been talking to some of my great people out there, some of my peers, and we feel like a lot of stuff is even getting closer and closer to being out there. And so I don't worry about if some people will whine, you've taught so many people. No, you'll see the reason why it does not bother me to have the goal of helping create and educate 10,000 note investors. So for all of you who are worried about the floods here in Austin, we're quite okay, quite dry. Everything's good here. I appreciate all the people reaching out. Hey, are you guys okay there in Austin? No, Austin's fine. A lot of rain going on here. A lot of rain coming into the hill country from north of where it's hitting here. We do have a boil alert on the water, so I'm drinking a lot of juice. Fresh juice. No ice, no smoothies, but that's okay. So anyway, moving on. I wanted to share some numbers with you about Note Night in America here. And for those of you that are looking to do some marketing on a regular basis, this is what I wanted to share these numbers for. We've had, in the last 100 times we've done this, we've had over 25,000 RSVPs in total across the board. Over 25,000 RSVPs. And that's all the RSVPs added up. That's not individual investors. Okay, just hang on. We've had over 13,000 of those show up. So we've averaged about 53% of the register actually get live. Now, let's not include in what's going on with Facebook Live, because Facebook Live changed how we kind of do some of the stuff about halfway. We've had over 9,500 Facebook views over the last year, especially so we started doing these at the beginning of the year with the Facebook Live. So yeah, big chunk of Facebook views going on there as well. I think that has affected the attendance ratio that we can see for those that actually show up to the RSVP. They watch. Some of you are watching on Facebook Live, which is great. So if you're watching this on Facebook Live, do me a favor, and in the comments, just click "I'm here." Okay. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, let us know. Hey, I'm here, and we're glad to hear it. If you're listening to this on iTunes or listening to this on Stitcher, thank you so much. I would love it if you guys share a review on iTunes or anything like that. But looking back at the top 3 Note Night in America episodes, number 3 was our Civil War, Note Civil War we did with Fuquan Bilal, where him and I, we took half our faces. He was Captain America. I was Iron Man. We discussed the marriage between first and second lien investing. Over a year ago, it was great. That was number 3. Number 2 was sourcing note deals, sourcing note sources from a few months ago. And then the number 1 was the marketing octagon, which was kind of surprise to that aspect of it. Now, number 4 was, we had a couple 4, 5, 6. We're all kind of close with raising private capital and looking at note deals. But Lily marketing octagon, between the views, those that RSVP and those that showed up, it was number 1 overall, which is kind of surprising. But hey, I'll take it. Love it. Those are great things. But it always talks about those things. Sourcing note deals and marketing and raising capital are the 3 biggest things that we see with everybody out there. Finding deals or raising capital, marketing. Okay. Not so much exit strategies. Yes, some systems come in place. But if you're more worried about systems and going out sourcing and raising capital, you're probably not moving as fast as you'd like to. Okay. Our upcoming event calendar here real fast. We have 1 spot remaining here in Austin for the last fast track training of the year. So November 9th through the 11th. Note Camp 6.0 is 3 weeks out. It's actually November 15th through the 18th. We have a half day on Thursday. All online. You can get your tickets. We'll talk more about that later on. Virtual note buying workshop, last of the year, November 30th through December 2nd. Okay, that's online. Go to weclosenotes.com, get signed up for that. That's $6.99. If you sign up for the virtual note buying workshop in November, I will give you a ticket to the Note Camp 6.0. All right. We have the December Note Mastermind in Cape Coral, Florida. Excited about that. Less than 2 months out there from there, but it's going to be one of our biggest masterminds of the year. Got some great stuff lined up. We're going to be doing a happy hour on Thursday night with just us. We're doing a meetup group and getting ready to drop a bunch of postcards out to IRA investors in the area to have them come in and learn a little about note investing in 2019 and using their self-directed IRA to fund some deals. We did it a couple years ago, huge success. Got a couple sponsors for the event, so it's be a nice time in Cape Coral, Florida, to be shooting some fish in the barrel when it comes to raising capital. Our first fast track training of January, if you can't make it in November, is January 11th to 13th. I'm sorry, that's in Austin, not in Cape Coral. I guess I got busy with that. That's actually Austin, Texas. And then I'm actually going to be, for those that have rental properties, those that are renters or landlords out there, you may want to look at going to the Bahamas in January, especially if you're in a freaking cold spot, because I'll be out there at Atlantis with Mr. Landlord Jeffrey Taylor, January 16th to the 19th. I may be out there right after our fast track and hang out that week afterwards. So pretty excited about to be out in the Bahamas for that event. So jacked up. If you'd like links to any of these, feel free to drop me an email at scott@weclosenotes.com. If you'd like to get on a phone call to discuss where I think you might fit into these, where your business is ready for, where you need the most amount of help, to let me know. I'll shoot you a link and we can schedule a 30-minute phone call. Had some great phone calls today with students since we started offering that up a little bit, and it was really nice. Some people are doing some really great things. Some people are just getting started and they just need a little bit of guiding, and we're here to help hold your hand and walk you through those things we can. Okay. I'll throw this out here as well. You know, someone who runs a real estate networking club who is looking for speakers in 2019, we'd like to fill our schedule up. It needs to be a paid membership club. We don't want a free to attend unless it's local here in Texas for the most part. And we'll talk about that on a case-by-case example. We're looking for 100 regular members for the most part, but we'll make an exception if it's here locally or, within 2-3 hours of Austin. Note focus, real estate investing, or note info is what we focus on for the most part. I'll even come out and talk about marketing, but if you know somebody and you can reach out and schedule it for me. Now, don't just send me a list. Some lady sent me a list of all these names. Like, yeah, I know all these people. That's not a referral. I want a date and a booking thing. If you help me book next year sometime, I'll give you a $500 finder's fee for helping me book 2019. Okay. So I will, like I said, looking to book some stuff up. I thought I'd reach out to my note family. If anybody is interested, Just had a great time up in Waterloo, New York, outside of Rochester this weekend, this Saturday at the Upper New York Real Estate Summit with Leon and whole crew there outside of Rochester. Just did a great job at the Del Lago Casino and Resort. Had a great time with 100 plus real estate investors, and excited at the chunk of you that decided to come on board as students. And so we're excited to have you for watching tonight. For those that opted in for information, hey, we're glad to have you here as well. So once again, if you know somebody, local real estate club or network club, drop me an email if you have any questions. I'll be glad to talk about it as well. Okay. Like I said, notecamp.live is where you can go for the next to get signed up for Note Camp. Prices went up to $3.99 on Sunday. All right. So if you missed out on the $2.99 special, take advantage. As we get closer within a month, prices are going to keep going up. So $3.99 is a chance that we've got some phenomenal stuff. We'll be talking about doing partial explanations, owner financing. We got some new names this time around on Note Camp Live. We got Mitch Stevens. We got Eddie Speed. Actually, he's going to be speaking on partials and some other things, along with some new servicing companies, along with some new money, private money stuff. So it's not just the same crew as 6 months ago. We're bringing on some really great speakers, great people that do some other things out there in the note industry that I think will add a lot of value to what you're looking to do. Okay. So $3.99, notecamp.live. It's fully online. Kick off at noon on Thursday. We'll run till 5 o'clock on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday will be 9 a.m. to 5. And then Sunday will be 9 to 3 is what we're looking for. But November 15th through the 18th, everybody, get your tickets, notecamp.live. Trust me, it's well worth it. All the replays, all the numbers of people that have signed up for in the past. Trust me, the database and the survey results are worth the $3.99. I think Chris Savigny ended up raising, had 7 private investors come out from his connections on Note Camp from reaching out marketing. So if that's not worth $3.99 to you, I don't know what is. Don't know what is if that's not worth to you, everybody. So jump on there. If you're an existing WCN crew member of the memberships that you're paying monthly, this is included in your membership. So you should be in the base camp group already. All right. If you're not, you're not. Okay. But let's talk about tonight's subject, 2021, a note Odyssey. And I'll tell you a funny story. I was literally sitting in my hotel room Friday night in Rochester. Chris Savigny, thank you. Definitely worth it, as you noted. Thanks, bud. And I was thinking, what do I need to talk about? Because I've been so busy. I spent up early, didn't sleep much Thursday night as I had an early flight out. And something popped up. I was thinking about somebody that I really enjoyed something. Now, when I was out at the Laughlin's or Aaron Young's Inner Circle meeting before the Magnify Your Wealth Summit, there was a great thing that Michelle Young, his wife, who was the MC of the event, did that I've heard her do before, and I've done this before as well. Think about where you're going to be in 3 years. Think about it. Take some time. If you could be anywhere and money was not the issue, what would you be doing? What would your life look like? Okay. Now, I did this for myself. I wrote it all down, and I'll share that later on with you. But I also said, where's the note industry going to be in 3 years? If I really sit and take some time to think about it, where are we going to be in the note industry? Where is everything going to be at in the next 3 years? Okay, think about it. Where are we going to be in the next 3 years? And that's why I jumped up. Cody Cox sent me a text message. It was kind of funny. He asked me if I ever sleep, and I do, because I posted immediately. Because I was like, this is a great idea. This is a great subject, because I know a lot of people are wondering what the heck is going on in the note industry. I see this every day. People complain about pricing, or complaining about vendors, or complaining about where to find deals and raise capital. And I just I chuckle. I see in other groups people posting, oh, what would you like? Would you like PowerPoint slides, or would you like PDFs? Or would you want more help on raising capital or marketing or systems? And I just laugh when I see it, because it's disturbing when I see people answering who've been to so many workshops, not only mine, but other things, and they're not pulling the trigger. There is no magic pill, all right? Morpheus is not going to show up and give you 2 pills, the red one or the blue one, all right? Take one of them and wake up in the matrix. Take another one, you wake up and it's perfect. You're in a dream, okay? You have to take action, because I'm going to tell you right now, from some of the conversations I'm having and things that I'm seeing, my radar is going crazy right now. My stuff is like, whoa, hang on. Don't stress out. Don't flip out. There's opportunity involved with everything I'm going to talk about here in the next 30 minutes with you tonight. Okay. And what you choose to do or how you choose to prepare for the future is going to determine how successful you are when it comes around. All right, I think we all know that, right? If you could see a crystal ball, what'd you? So, and the future is split up 3 ways for you here tonight. We're going to talk about where the note business will be. We'll talk about where I will be. Okay, we'll also talk about where you will possibly be. Okay, those 3 things: where the note business will be, where I will be, where you will be. All right, we all be being tonight. Okay, all about will be's. Will be's, okay? So the future of the note business, and you may want to grab a pen and paper and write this down. Nostradamus. I should have some funky hat. The great Nostradamus. All right. I'll tell you right now, over half of you and others won't be in the business anymore. I know that's probably a little shocking, but I look back, it's basically about a 3 or 4 year cycle. If I look back at our students, I look back at people that were here 3 years ago, half of them aren't in the business anymore. It's not anything that we did. It's the shiny object syndrome. All right. They chase other things. There are some people who closed hundreds of assets, done a tremendous job, that aren't really in the note business anymore. They may be more in the REO space, or they may be just sitting, enjoying their cash flow. And that's completely fine. Okay. But over half of you will not be in the note industry in 3 years. Okay. Only about 10% of people do anything anyway. Okay. But really less than like 5% actually stick with something long-term, longer than 5 years. Okay. Even some of our best students aren't even in the industry anymore. Okay. So the people that were closest to us haven't bought anything in 2 years. Okay. And they're going back to get a job, which is unfortunate, because if they just freaking worked, they just got off their ass and actually did something, they would be in a whole different situation. They would not have to go back looking for a job. They would be their own boss. They would be their own, what's the word I'm looking for? It would be the person in charge of their future. We all are in charge of our own destiny. Okay. Doesn't matter what I do. Doesn't matter what you do. I'm in charge of my destiny. You're in charge of your destiny. We are at where we're at today because of the decisions that we make on a daily basis, or in the past, decisions that we have made. Okay. So that's the first thing I'm going to tell you. Half of you and others won't be in the business anymore because you're just not focused. You're just not focused. Okay. Some of you will close on hundreds of deals. I don't know who those are. Some of you are ramping up, doing a great job. Some of you have gotten out of your mind funk and starting to do some great things out there. Some of you have just done great things at the gates, which is phenomenal. I think that's great. Those of you that are doing that are going to be around for a while. Okay. Others will fade away or chase another squirrel. You either fade away and start chasing REOs when they become available later on or something like that, or you'll go into doing something else. You'll go into doing marijuana or green sales or other things like that, okay? Or into the used car recycling business, which I'll share with you here in a bit. There'll be other things that you do, okay? So you may hit enough success along the way, like, I don't need to do this anymore. I can just live how I want to live, and that's completely fine. Business-wise, I believe we'll see more licensing at the state levels. I think we're going to see that. I think we're definitely going to see that at more of the state levels. And I would hope that the Seller Finance Coalition is able to help with that and get that number that they're trying to get up to at least 5, so people can do at least 5 deals a year or more. But I think we're going to see more licensing at state levels across the country, where you'll either need to have a mortgage broker's license or a note brokering license or a debt buyer's license. Some of it is in some of the other states out there right now. I think it's just going to be a way that for the state to grab more money out there for you. So I think we're going to see that across the board. Years ago, we predicted this, and we got our class approved for continuing education originally in Texas here. And if we start seeing more of that, I'll go back and work to get the thing approved for continuing education across different states out there. Okay. Jeff Wolf says half. That's really scary. Well, Jeff, if you think about this, half of people don't do anything anyway. They come along for a little while and they're going. I'm talking to the general whole population. Probably not more of you that are on here will probably be around for a longer time. But if I look back, and I went back, started looking at people who were on my webinars 3 years ago and how they're no longer around, or I've gone to different events and run into people that I was like, man, weren't you that you were in the note industry? Even like vendors, even like educators. Okay. Chris says, I thought it would be less, to be honest. Yeah. There's a lot of people that are educators now that won't be in the industry at all. Okay. There's a lot, I mean, seriously, a lot of educators out there that haven't bought anything in the last year or 2 years, or just being educators, aren't going to be in the business. I think most of the second guys, I mean, I love Faquan Bilal, buddy of mine, NNG. He's basically not in the note industry anymore. He's basically in the real estate industry, which is great. It's fine. It's where it's taking him, but not really the note industry phase. Okay. Well, I think I'm a big believer market values will be below where they're at right now. In some cases, substantially less than where they're at currently. I think the hardest hit states they're going to be hit that California, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Oregon, Washington, Texas. You're going to have especially the bigger cities like Dallas, Houston, Austin. Our values are going to take a bigger hit. Okay. Because of a couple of things is when the markets drop, they're going to drop faster in those areas because those are the fastest to foreclose on. Those are the fastest markets to be moving on some things. And so you're going to see foreclosures when it starts to hit. It's like a domino effect. It starts reducing value in other areas. Okay. I think your states that were hit the hardest beforehand that have slowly recovered, like Michigan, Ohio, they'll take a little bit of a hit, but they're not going to be as dramatic as what we'll see on the West Coast. Okay. We've been here. Okay. In the cities that are overpriced, I mean, San Francisco is going to be hit very hard. LA, San Diego, a lot of those places are going to be hit very, very hard. Okay. I think second liens will be cheap again. And it's also funny because I've seen a lot of second lien investors who have a performing portfolio looking to sell off. Looking to sell them off now while they're still encumbered versus being over encumbered. That is something that should be a red flag. I've seen some of the funds out there looking to sell other assets off in the 80 cents range. I'm like, wait a second, it doesn't make any. Why are you selling these off at 80? Oh, you foresee something happening in Florida. You foresee something happening in the longer foreclosure states. Okay. Because we know when the values drop, the values of the seconds would have been created, what were created that have rebounded back aren't going to be there anymore. Okay. Buyers overpaying for assets will be dumping inventory. You'll see investors that have overpaid dumping inventory, looking to get out of this business because they're going to be upside down and they're looking to get out as best they can. Okay. And I hate to say this, but your smaller one-off buyers won't really have a place at the table. What I foresee, based on a couple of things, if you add in the licensing aspect of things, if you look at the market and probably the ability to buy, I think one-off buyers right now are probably the problem with some of the pricing on the low-hanging fruit. Now, you're still seeing good assets from banks and better pricing in the bulk side of things, but there's people that, that's what happened in the REO market. People are overpaying. The foreclosure auctions are overpaying. That's fine. It's an opportunity for me as a note investor to sell to those overbuyers. But when they get in the note industry space, they're going to be overpaying for assets and looking to dump them. Okay. And the smaller one-off buyers really won't have the tools or the affordability to do things on a one-off basis. You got to be looking to do it at mini bulks. I'm talking not one asset, but looking to leverage it across several states, across several assets. That's what I believe. Okay. A lot of people, and I'll share something major with you shortly and the reason why I believe that in the next slide here. Okay. Questions about any of this stuff before I move on? There's a couple of things I didn't include in here that I'll add in the next one here. But anyway, moving on, the future continued. I think those investors that have funds, and not just by like a Reg A or a 506C or D, those investors that have funds will clean up for a couple of reasons. Because they'll have a lot of money, a lot of cheap money that can come in and buy in bulk and really just clean up. Okay. I believe Goldman Sachs will be out of business. Maybe not the whole thing, but I believe the facet of their $26,000 or 26,000 loans that they bought or more than that will backfire on them tragically. Because they're overpaying. They're one of the biggest buyers that's overpaying for all these HUD loan trades. Okay. When the market goes south, they would have overpaid. They'll be upside down. And just because they can get a tax reduction on their fine, they're going to look at the numbers and realize, hey, they overpaid for this stuff. Same thing with a lot of the larger hedge funds. They're buying REOs and putting renters into them and trying to control it that way. Those notes will hit the market again at a substantial cheaper price because the values just won't be there. And I think those that have funds can go and be able to buy from them. They'll be able to eat at the whale, be sharks eating at the whale carcass. That makes sense. Okay. I think insurance rates in Florida will drive investors away, especially with what happened in the last 2 years, this year and last year too. It's going to make it extremely unaffordable to have a lot of investment property there, especially around the nice areas of Florida. Bill asked a question. I believe that Goldman Sachs gets a credit on what they owe the government when they buy notes and forgive principal. Is that right? Yes. They get a dollar for dollar discount off of their fine. But you got to realize they're still trying to make money on a lot of the stuff there based on what they paid for this stuff. They're not going to, why would you still buy a lot of stuff that you're going to take a loss? Certainly, if you start losing more than 20% values in areas, it's not going to make sense for them. They're going to be losing money, and it's going to be too big a drain on the fund itself. Okay. This is a thing to keep in mind. Uber, which is already doing this, will end up replacing taxis and drivers. Uber is not going to have personal drivers. They're going to have automated cars. Automated drones was an article today about delivering things. Okay. And why is that going? How is that going to increase default rates across America? Well, a lot of people are working for Uber or Yelp. I'm not Yelp or Lyft. Sorry, to pay their bills. Literally in Orlando and other areas of the country where I've gone to, it's like their only gig. Okay, because they have a hard time finding jobs elsewhere that'll help them. So they're working there. But the minute Uber starts to replace them with automated cars, which we will see, I guarantee it's in the future. It's already happening in other areas in the world. Those, unfortunately, lower income producing borrowers won't have any money. They can't afford to pay their mortgage. And that's going to increase the default rate. Obviously, we already see a separation between the rich and the poor. The middle class is getting squeezed one way or another. Okay. But what's going to happen with default rates? You're going to have auto debt already at a higher thing. That's going to be a big boom. You're going to, I had a conversation with the one of the smartest guys in the world who's known as the Scorpion. Maybe you know there's a TV show after the guy. Had a chance to visit with him over a year ago at an event. He was talking about that. Yeah, you're going to have all these people that have garages with no cars into it because they can take an Uber everywhere they go now. Cheaper than paying for insurance, paying for a car payment, paying for maintenance. They can just use an Uber everywhere. How many of you guys go to a place now and you Uber everywhere? A lot of you. I mean, I rented a car this weekend because I had a 53-mile drive. All right. But a lot of places I go, especially in the higher occupied areas, the bigger areas, I never rent a car anymore. I just Uber every place. And that's going to squeeze out, like I say, the lower income producing people are relying on that to get by. That's going to replace, like, you look at some of the Uber Eats or the Uber delivery, that's going to be replacing some of the drivers, FedEx, UPS. A lot of those drivers are going to be without a job. Okay. The minute that they end up using these electronic vehicles as well for NAFTA or the big trucks, tractor trailers you see on the highways, that's becomes automated. There's another level of people that won't be able to pay their mortgage that the companies will hire a cheaper robot to help out with. That leads to more default rates. That leads to bigger things, more opportunities for us to come in, but will anybody be able to afford them? Okay. I believe marijuana will be legal in the next 3 years. And you'll have a whole new classification of commercial notes on, is it a dispensary or is it a grow house? Okay. Total different new aspect of commercial notes out there. Already starting to see some of that stuff pop up now. Okay. Apartment non-performing notes will be cheap. And this is going to scare a lot of people that love gotten in the apartment industry because I think apartments are overpriced right now. Totally overpriced. Everybody's buying the peak. And they think they're going to go in and spend 3 years, 4 years and work to regentrify it, take it from a class C to a B or a B to an A, or get it regentrified, add in more values. But what happens when people can't pay their mortgage, they're living in those houses? default rates go down. Also, when market values start going down in 3 years, 4-year time frames, when these investors are going in with the idea that they can get refinanced with traditional bank financing in 3 years, it's not going to be there. They have to bring 20, 30% down cash to get refinanced, and they're not going to have that. So you're going to see apartment rates drop. It's going to hurt some things. It's like it was in 2008, 2009. We were seeing a lot of apartment loans that we could pick up. They're still fully occupied, but the borrowers, the people that were stuck on it, could not get refinanced out. Or they had to bring some to the table. Okay. Interest rates will be higher. Credit lines will be tightened. It's also going to affect your commercial loans on things a little bit more so. Plenty of IRA, 401k money to put to work because people will be getting laid off from work or out of jobs, and they're looking to put that money to work. Okay. And when you have a lot of money hitting the market, you can come back as investors and offer some cheaper rates on some things and really knock some stuff out. So questions, comments about anything I just stated here. I think these all have a dramatic effect on the note industry. Will Texas legalize pot? Oh, I guarantee it. You already walk downtown Austin. They always joke about it, that they'll make it legal if nothing's going to change. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure Texas will legalize pot. Trust me, I guarantee. When you look at the money that Colorado and other states are bringing in off of it, yeah, Texas will. It's just a matter of time. Okay, just a matter of time in the next, I think, 36 months. Okay. So where are your safer states to invest? Well, I've already talked about those. I would be investing in the areas, the blue collar stuff. I would still be doing in the stuff that's relatively inexpensive for you. I would not be buying anything over $150,000 valued assets. I'd be looking at the 60 to 100 range. I think you're going to be fine on that stuff because those are still great investments where you can pick up the debt cheap and still be able to make a really good return on investment. And that's still the first time home buyers. That's where you got to look at. Okay. That's where you've got to look at. You don't want to buy the high-end loans because those people can drag you out and fight you in foreclosure and bankruptcy and things like that. It's that sub $150,000 valued house is I think where you want to be. Yeah, probably between 50 and 100, primarily for the most part. Okay, because the stuff below 50 is going to get cheap again. They get really cheap again. Okay, well the stuff that's valued at 100 now will be down to 50. So that was valued at 150 will be down to 100 or 75. Okay. So questions, comments about this? Is there a safe way to invest in performing notes? Well, the thing about performing notes is you want to still make it buy to the right price. Okay. If you're buying something in the 70s, I think you'll be okay. 70% of value. I think you're okay. 80, 85. You want to making sure that you're getting a pretty decent return on investment, 15% or more. 12 to 15. I just think you'll be close not to making much after the downturn comes in place. I still like the way of taking non-performing and getting them converted to performing notes and holding on to them. Okay. So let's talk. I'll share with you where I see myself in 2021. Here's where I believe I will be in 2021. Okay. And I wrote this out I shared it the other night. I wrote it out a couple of weeks ago and it's been on my brain a lot more. And I think that's what really helped me out with this topic there. I will still be in the note business. Okay. I will still be in the note business. I can tell you that right now. All right. I'll still be one of the main facets of what I'm doing. I think the podcasting will help out with some things. We've been offered some speaking things do that. I don't believe we're running a marketing firm. Some people talked about us doing that. I don't think we'll be doing that. Okay. Laura Blanc, I know you will too. I know you will be one of those still in the business. You're doing a great job. Chris Savani, you'll be one of those out there as well because you're still doing it. You're doing it. And I will tell you this right now, guys. If you want to get where you want to be in 2021, don't apologize. If you're worried about offending other people or you're worried about getting permission for everything that you do, you will not be in business long because you will get eaten alive. What does that mean? Well, don't wait for somebody to give you permission to start a meetup group. Just go do it. Don't wait for somebody to give you permission to email out to your database. Go do it. Don't wait for somebody to help you with your IRA postcards. Go get to them and send them out now. Okay? things. I have turned down some speaking things to focus on my business because I see where things are going. I still speak a lot, but we have leveraged the podcast to help us be here more often. Yeah, I still travel quite a bit, but I'm traveling for fun or being very more selective where I'm going. Okay. I'm a big believer that you have to be taking action in the next 6 months. Between now and then March, it's going to set you up for 2019 more than anything else, because we're going to see some changes in the next 3 years, guys, and you have to be taking action on things, okay? You're going to have to probably crack a few eggs along the way, but hey, you know what? It's on omelets made, okay? We're going to have two $25 million funds will be totally funded. At least two. One's going to be a $25 million non-performing note fund, and another one's going to be a performing fund, primarily buying non-performing notes that have been converted into performing notes. I think we'll clean up quite well in the funds as things change from some of the bigger guys. Okay. And it's kind of dawned on me in the last 2 years, well, not the last 2 years, but literally we've been focusing on a lot of things, a lot of raising capital, a lot in marketing, and a lot of other things, bringing things together. And it's kind of like a light just came on for some of the things of where we want to be. Steph and I will be married, obviously, at the point, but we'll be living somewhere in the Caribbean half the year. I don't think we'll be in Austin in 2021. And we may still have the house here, but I don't think we'll be living here. I think it'll be rented out. And the other six months out of the year, we'll probably be bouncing around the United States, going to places we want to go to. But we'll be living at least half the time, non-hurricane season, according to Steph, in the Caribbean somewhere, maybe St. Kitts, Nevis, things like that. I'll be literally doing these webinars with the ocean in the background, is the way I feel, what I have foreseen over and over and over again. We'll help over 100 investors become millionaires. I think that number is probably closer to 200 or 300, but we will have helped over 100 plus investors become millionaires. I've already seen it in my dreams, seen it where they're coming to the Caribbean. We're having an event somewhere in the Caribbean, and they're flying out, and it's just 150, 200 people we've helped become millionaires in the next 3 years. Okay. We'll have a bestseller out about their journeys, not my journey, but their journeys. It's popped in my head. Our note mastermind will still be rocking, still be the best in the industry. All these, because we still do it. We still do stick to our notes. We close notes, everybody. We close notes. We meet in different places, probably in the Caribbean, maybe Puerto Rico once or twice, somewhere like that. Okay. Do these live with the ocean in the background. We'll have a couple million downloads on the Note Close Show podcast, because everybody will be going to try to find information on how they can tap into this fund or tap into this, what's going on in the industry. And like I say, if you start thinking about something, and I've wanted to do this for a while, it becomes more and more obvious that the actions you take and the things that get presented to yourself, it's like quantum physics. Things start appearing in front of you. They start proving things right, that you're on the right path. And that's where I want to be. I want to wake up every morning, fresh cup of coffee, go out, take a walk on the beach or swim in the morning or in the pool, come back in, work for a couple hours, and then go have fun. Because I believe I'll be down to a 4-hour workday at that point. I know, a little crazy. I'm putting a lot, but I believe that's where I'm headed. That's what I'm shooting for. Not a 4-hour work week, but a 4-hour day. I believe that's where we're at. That's what I want to focus on. And taking some steps to get there in dramatic fashion here the next 60 days, next 90 days. Okay. Now, the question is, where will you be? Now, this is meant for you to be interactive with this. I want you to think about this for a second. I want you to just close your eyes and think for a second. Close your eyes. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher while you're driving, please pull over. Okay. If you're listening to this while driving or anything like that, pull over. Just stop for a second. Get in a quiet spot. And I want you to think about where you're going to be in 3 years. And I want you to think about a variety of things. I want you to write this down. Okay. I want you to share this with your spouse or partner after you go through this little exercise. Okay. And I want you to think, what do you really want to accomplish? Okay. Three things: business, financially, and personally. Now, they always talk about how your health, everything is like you try to get everything in balance. It's impossible to have a balance on things, on your big five things. So let's focus on the three things. I think I'm going to be in the best health I'm going to be in a long time in the next 3 years. I think I'm also be stand-up paddleboarding competitively, which is kind of funny. But anyway, but I want you to think about this. Where are you going to be in 3 years in your business? What goals have you set? Not just for next year, but what's the end game? What's that game look like to you? Okay. And what does that look like financially to you? I'm a big believer that with our fund, yes, it's 50 million total, 25 non-performing funded and 25 performing funded. It's bringing in capital to us on a regular basis. And I believe we're going to see a 20% profit on both sides of that comes to us. You don't have to be a genius to figure out what those numbers are. Okay. But that's where I see us based on the things that we focus on. That's what I want to focus business-wise. That brings in financially, which means we can do anything. And personally, it allows us to accomplish and do a lot of good. Personally, it allows us to do a lot of amazing things. Is that waking up on a beach for you? Is that waking up in Austin? Is that waking up in Telluride? Is that waking up somewhere else, Costa Rica? What does that look like to you? Who's there with you? What are you doing? What do you look like? What are you eating? Think about that. What are things that you're accomplishing? One of my biggest things is I believe Steph's going to do a great job with Fur Babies podcast and be speaking via webinar and other places quite often because it's a passion and she's going to overcome some hurdles. I think a lot of you guys will have some things out there. You guys will have some podcasts. I keep hoping that there'll be more podcasts out there because I think it's helpful for people. Look, I don't mind having a great podcast. I love it. But I think it's great for the industry to have a few more. And some of the people will disagree with me because I think it draws, we all have different tribes and not everybody fits into my Note family tribe. Okay. And not everybody's going to fit into your tribe if you're doing a show. But I think if you focus on it and you're serious about it, I'm not talking about dipping your toe in the water with what you want to do, but literally diving in, getting wet into whatever you want to accomplish, whether it's your business, which leads to financial success for you, and then leads to personal success. You have to have those three things. Think about it. Is it going to be easy? Probably not. It's going to take some difficult. It's going to take some hard decisions from everybody. But if you don't think about where you want to be, you'll aimlessly drift along and you'll be caught in other things, currents of other occurrences, currents of other people, currents of financial, economic changes, and you'll have no place to go except go with the flow. That makes sense, everybody? I'm thinking about moving to Texas within 6 months. Well, Jeffrey, if you're thinking about it, then don't say you're thinking about it, you're doing, you're taking actions. That means you're jumping on a plane coming out. Have you booked those tickets? Okay. Kenneth Younger says, how did you know I was moving to Costa Rica in 2 years? That's great. Do you have that set, Kenneth? Because honestly, a dream is just a dream until you put a date down to it, or you actually do some research on it. Okay. And that's one of the biggest things. We've got this trip to the Bahamas. We've got this cruise to Spain in May and June again this year. And we'll be having some guest hosts on the No Close Show podcast again. But those are just a couple trips. I want to spend some time in the Caribbean. I want to find out where that is. I think it's Nevis. I think it's St. Kitts. Maybe it's not. But someplace that I can work and still be where I'm at, but live in paradise, my own version of paradise. And sunburned, toes in the sand, and just enjoying life and literally having things down. I am so excited about where we're headed with our staff and what we're accomplishing, and our students are doing a great job. We've got some major things that we're working on, and it's going to be very good for a lot of people out there. Okay. So I want you to be specific when you're thinking about where you want to be in 3 years. What does that look like? Write it down. Write it down. How does that make you feel? What energy does that give off of what you're thinking about where you want to be in 3 years? Is it still working for your company? If you enjoy that and doing that, that's fine. Are you moving up? Are you leaving them? Are you doing what you want to do full time? Think about this. What do you see if you close your eyes? What do you really see? Close your eyes. Okay. And then what I would love it too, if you wrote this down. If you wrote this down and then shared it, I'll be the first one that when we finish up with this tonight, I will go on to the WCN Crew Facebook page and I'll share this there. I'll share it to my personal Facebook page. But what do you see on where you will be in 2021? And I call it a note odyssey. It's not a space odyssey like Stanley Kubrick, where we get trapped into a black hole and then we become in a stale room and fade away. No, I believe there's opportunity in a lot of places out there for people. It depends on where you want to be. If you're not committed to the note business now, you're probably not going to be committed in 3 years. That's all I have to say. If you're brand new to it, great. Get your feel wet. Like I said, there's people on here who have never closed a note deal, be closing on hundreds of deals the next few years. So you're going to close on some deals that aren't focused enough, that are drifting, that just won't find the success, and you'll drift onto something else. And that's okay. Questions, comments, concerns? I know it's a little different. Where will you be? I'm trying to pull up Facebook here, see if there are any comments from people. Taking forever to load. Excited. We had that big, Shannon did a really good job in the office writing a nice article on Dan Deppen and him doing some cool stuff to share some things or to get where he's at, leaving his job. So congratulations to you, Dan. Out there, you've taken some consideration where you want to be and put it in place, which is awesome. So, but anyway, any other questions or comments? Todd LaPierre says, my wife and I created our vision board together for 2022. That's awesome, Todd. That's great. Are you bringing your wife down to the Cape Coral Mastermind? I hope so. Good. Good. We look forward to seeing you down there, Todd. It's going to be a great time. Good stuff. All right, everybody. Well, take the time, share it, write it down with your spouse, share it with us, see what they want to do, see what they be. Get them involved if you can. Talk about it with your kids if you got kids. Talk about it with your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever your partner is, business-wise. It's important that you have a shared vision of where you want to go to find success. I've got some really good friends right now that have been in business for 5 years now, and they're breaking apart their businesses because they want to go in different directions, and it's not been the easiest thing for them to do. They're going to see some growth separately, but they never really talked about where they wanted to be. They grew really big with these big things, but they weren't focused on things. They were trying to do too many things, and it resulted in them in losing some things, right? So I want all of you to accomplish every goal that you want, all right? Everybody out there, okay? I want you to be focused. I want you to have amazing business, amazing life, and accomplish everything you want to do. But you've got to work. You got to know where you want to be, and more importantly, you got to plan for it, okay? There you go, Chris Savenia. I like it. Completed 300 deals. Have a $10 million fund and podcast with 150 episodes. Great. Get to 10. Are you guys 2 more episodes closer to 10? Yes, good. Good stuff, Chris. Awesome. Well, that's about all I have. I mentioned this earlier. What would you really do if finances weren't a problem for you? So questions? You're exactly right, Chris Savini. Consistency is key for people. That's most people's biggest problem. Just being consistent, sticking to it. 100 episodes, okay? 360 episodes in podcasts. Just being consistent, being the little engine that could, okay? That's the consistency out there. And we've got some really great little engines out there that are not just could, but are doing it and would change some lives. So That's about all I have for you guys tonight. If you could do me a favor one more time, if you enjoyed Note Night in America, please take 5 minutes and go to iTunes or Stitcher or Apple Podcasts, and please leave a review. Do it on Note Closer Show if you'd like rather do it there. Help me hit 100 reviews on the Note Closer Show podcast for sure. We're just a few away, but would really appreciate it if you take a 5 minutes. Or if you're listening to this right now, hey, just click on over, leave a review, leave a 5-star rating. Would love it. Help us get to 100 reviews here before the end of the week. It'd be great. So once again, thank you guys. Thank you for everybody that's been a part of Note Night in America, who's joined us either for 1 or 100 episodes. Always honored and humbled that you join us on Monday night. And we look forward not only the growth of the show in the next 100, but those of you out there who are doing some amazing things and have you on to talk about what you're doing in your business and also on the podcast as well. So go out, make something happen, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you all at the top. Bye.